Shea has more of a bag though, but clarified that Jordan had a bag but did not need to use it. This distinction.
All right, welcome back to the show, everybody, and good morning to you. I got me a nice cold glass of Coca-Cola ready to watch this video, and what the hell is with this title? Did Michael Jordan really have a limited bag? Are people really saying this? Well, I mean, considering this is coming from the old school b-ball channel, this has to be something that flew under the radar that I didn't know about, but it sounds like this reminds me of the MJ can't shoot threes or like MJ can't go left kind of thing. So is this a new narrative? Like MJ didn't have a bag? Are they just taking the same thing that like people said about LeBron and just throwing it on MJ? Anyways, I don't know what this is, and I gotta find out. So let's get right into this. This is from legendary YouTube channel, Old School B-Ball, one of my favorites. Highly recommend checking it out. Link is going to be down below in the description, as it always is. You also see a list of channel members. Shout out channel members. Happy holidays to you guys. I want to get right into this one, though. So if you can do me a favor, hit that like button. Hit that hype button if you could, too. And let's do this.
Paul Pierce and Danny Green ignited a firestorm on December 2025, claiming Michael Jordan had a limited bag compared to SGA. The claim fundamentally misunderstands what Jordan's game was and why it was perfectly calibrated for his era. Jordan possessed...
Okay, that statement alone, though, like, I'm curious, where's the context? Like, what was the full statement? Also, Paul Pierce says some crazy stuff because, to be honest, Paul Pierce stole pretty much all of Michael Jordan's game. Except for he didn't quite pull in all of Michael Jordan's game. So if he had a limited bag, then Paul Pierce had a really limited bag if he wants to do that. But whatever. I'm curious what the full statement was.
One of the most complete and adaptable offensive skill sets in NBA history, with 10 scoring titles, a career average 30.1 PPG, and documented mastery across post play, footwork, mid-range, and finishing. The real story isn't that Jordan lacked moves. It is that his rules environment made certain moves optimal while rendering modern bag aesthetics unnecessary. Okay, so what...
I mean, I'd be willing to say in the 80s, he proved that he can face up against anybody and still find a way to score. And in the 90s, he proved that he can have his back to the basket, post up against anybody, and find a way to score no matter what. And then he did a whole bunch of stuff in between. 10-time scoring champion, it's hard to say you don't have a bag. Like, and especially when we watched him do it, he scored in every which way possible. So how is it that he doesn't have a bag? I don't get it. If he only did one move his whole career, like, for instance, if all he did was shoot threes his whole career and he was really good at that, then yeah, you could say maybe you don't have a bag, but this is just weird. He did it everywhere, all over the court.
Pierce and Green actually said, the comments came on the No Fouls Given podcast while praising SGA's historic run. Pierce declared, Mike had a limited bag. He didn't need to do all that fancy explicit. He was right to the business. He was 1-2 dribble pull up, no bag. Danny Green...
Okay, well, to be fair, this is how Jordan played a lot of later in his career, which is what Paul Pierce is probably referring to, because that's when he got to play against Michael Jordan a little bit. But if you watch Jordan in his first 10, well, I'd say about his first 9 years in the NBA, he played completely different to that. Okay, he did do all that extra stuff, and then he learned later on in his career, wait, I can still score without using all this energy to do all this extra stuff.
Offered more nuance. Shea has more of a bag though, but clarified that Jordan had a bag but did not need to use it. This distinction...
I mean, that's more accurate if you want to talk about like second three-peat MJ. He had a full bag and only just decided at which points should I dig into that bag. While early Jordan, he dug into that bag every single play. But that's just maturity.
Matters. Green's qualifier that Jordan had moves he didn't need to deploy actually undermines the limited framing. The conversation reveals a conflation between aesthetic move diversity and scoring effectiveness. Pierce defined bag narrowly as dribble handles to a shot, ignoring post footwork, fadeaways, counter moves, and the fundamentals that made Jordan unstoppable. And here's the thing, Jordan's offensive arsenal was encyclopedic.
Crazy.
The 1-2 dribble pull-up characterization erases the documented breadth of Jordan's game. His arsenal included drop steps and up and unders in the post, a turnaround fadeaway executable over either shoulder, shooting 82% of fadeaways in his final 2 Bulls seasons.
That's insane. That stat right there alone is just amazing.
Baseline reverse layups, double clutch and triple clutch finishes, mid-air hand switches, jab step series, and pivot foot mastery that Nike literally designed a shoe around. And film studies that says Jordan was the most complete scoring weapon in NBA history, who could score in the post, off the ball, in pick and roll, and in isolation with a gaggle of efficient moves.
I would agree with that statement 100%. He's the best scorer I've ever seen in my entire life, bar none.
Statistical evidence is overwhelming. In
One might say he's the A-all, B-all of scoring. If you get it, you get it.
96-97, Jordan made 547 mid-range field goals at 49.5% efficiency.
It's beautiful.
Reggie Miller, considered the era's premier shooter, made only 484 at 42.4%. According to statistical analysis, Jordan owned...
Hold up. I'll focus on the words, but look at the split. Look at the split he does in the post. Not this one.
According
right here. Now, the common thing would be to go away from the double, but he's going to see the double team coming in, and he's going to split right through it. That's a ballsy move, man. And if that didn't work, he would have had a wide open. Is that Tony Kukoc right there to pass to?
To statistical.
Look at that split. I mean, good odds you can draw a foul like this, too, because now you got a guy right on your back. And then he still fades away. I think he expected the body to be there. So he was, what a greedy guy. He was going for an and one on this, I think. But either way, what a play.
Jordan owns 6 of the 9 highest.
He got it. He got his and one. Well, he's brilliant. Who would think to split the double team and then fade back into the help defender to draw the foul on your fadeaway? That's just brilliant. I know it's a simple little play, and I'm making a big deal, but this is.
According
to talk high IQ basketball.
Statistical analysis, Jordan owns 6 of the 9 highest pace-adjusted scoring rates in NBA history. His playoff shooting charted at 65% at the rim, 46% from the mid-range, and maintained elite efficiency even as his volume increased in postseason pressure.
Yeah.
No player in history matched his combination of volume and efficiency across 3 distinct phases of a career. Jordan's game transformed dramatically across 15 years, disproving any notion of a static limited toolkit. From 84 to 87, he dominated as an explosive slasher with one of the best first steps in NBA history.
Agreed.
Practically teleporting past elite defenders like Sidney Moncrief. By 1988-1993, he developed his trademark fadeaway, improved his three-point shooting to 37.6% in 89-90 season, and won Defensive Player of the Year while maintaining scoring dominance. The most remarkable transformation came post-baseball. After his 1993 retirement, Jordan returned and reinvented himself as a post-up assassin.
Absolutely.
Chicago Tribune writer Sam Smith documented that Jordan had...
And the thing is like, all this did was add to his bag, because he was already a good post-up player, leading up to like 92, 93. But he wasn't at this elite level. And then he comes back and, he talks about it in The Last Dance, where he said when he came back, it's like the game slowed down for him. And I think that's where he started realizing, wait a second, give me the ball here every single time. I can score, like we saw those percentages in the 80 percentile. Give me the ball in the post and I do a fadeaway 80% of the time. I'm going to make this damn shot. So the game slowed down for him. But the thing is anytime he needed to, he still went into his old bag from back in the day and he'd play face up.
became much stronger, even more a student of the game, and had developed an indefensible fall-away move in the post. BJ Armstrong witnessed both versions. The player that he was in 91, 92, 93 could overwhelm you with pure raw athleticism. The player you saw in 96, 97, 98 was a totally different player. The genius was that he was able to do it in a completely different way.
Yep.
Jordan won't.
That's why a lot of us old heads always refer to first repeat and second repeat MJ. And then you also got Wizards MJ, and then you got 80s MJ. Like all these different eras, if you watch a game from 96 and then watch a game from 86, it's like watching a completely different player. Yet, the one thing that's the same, these guys who look at completely different, including the hair, they have one thing in common. They can score at will. They're proving they can do it in different ways.
Scoring titles at ages 32, 33, and 34, the oldest player to accomplish this, doing it 3 consecutive times by mastering entirely new skill sets as athleticism declined. What coaches and defenders...
Yeah, like this is a great example, this clip he shows here.
Entirely new skill sets.
Right here. Because you think like typical Jordan, he's going to split and go right to the basket dunk. But what's he going to do here? Watch this.
As athleticism declined.
Because he got him so deep. He's like, I could easily make a turnaround jumper from here. Like, that's something that 80s Jordan would not have done.
What coaches and defenders experienced firsthand? The people who actually schemed against Jordan tell a different story than limited back. Chuck Daly created the infamous Jordan rules specifically because conventional defense couldn't contain Jordan's diverse attack. Yeah. Anytime he went by you, you had to nail him. And
the evolution happened for a reason. Can you guys imagine if Jordan, put like 96 Jordan against the bad boy Pistons, and with all the knowledge that version of Jordan had, he would just post up the Pistons all day. Like you can't throw me on the ground if I'm just posting up on you. And that would have ruined the Jordan rules. But back then, Jordan was used to scoring like BJ said. He would just like punish you and attack you with his athleticism. So if he learned back at that young age to not rely on the athleticism and rely on the fundamentals of a turnaround jump shot, he could have gotten through that a lot easier. But that's the evolution. He had to learn those lessons.
He was coming off a screen, nail him. The Pistons needed an entire defensive system dedicated to a one player because his offensive options were too numerous for individual defenders. Joe Dumars, Jordan's primary defender for 14 years, described facing a very smart player who introduced certain tricks to make me expand on my talents as an offensive player. Hakeem Olajuwon analyzed Jordan's decision-making. He won't settle for an open jumper. He wants better than I'm giving him. So he dribbles toward me. Sooner or later, I'll have to come to him, at which point he can either shoot before I get there or drive around me. It is a very subtle, very impressive set of decisions he makes. Gary Payton, the 1996 Defensive Player of the Year.
It's like Matrix stuff. For those of you who've seen the Matrix series, that's also how Jordan described the zone. Once you're in that moment, everything slows down around you, and there's nothing quite like it.
Year developed a specific strategy. I made him work. Made it hard for him to get the ball. People were so easy on him to give him the ball, and then he'll kill you. Even Payton, one of the history's best perimeter defenders, could only slow Jordan by denying him the ball entirely, not by defending his moves. The rules created different...
I agree with that with that notion, though. With any great scorer, the best thing you can do is deny them the ball. Can you really successfully deny Jordan the ball? Probably not, because he's going to be posting up against you. So if you front him in the post, then he's got a, easy lob clearance to the actual basket over and over again. They can exploit that. Unless you have a constant double team, and then at that point, you're literally leaving one guy wide open. So what are you going to really do to stop it? But I do agree with Gary Payton as a defender. That's always the mindset if you're trying to shut someone down. You just prevent them from getting the ball as much as possible. Because once they get the ball, a great scorer is a great scorer. Get a hand in their face, do what you can, but there's only so much you can do to stop them once they get that ball.
Optimal moves. The illegal defense rule, eliminated in 2001-2002, fundamentally shaped what constituted effective offense. Before zone defense was legalized, defenders couldn't play in between the ball and their man. They had to either commit the full double team or guard their assigned player. As Jason Williams explained, when MJ had the ball on the wing, all he had to do worry about was the primary defender. MJ only had one guy. This context transforms the limited bag argument. Extended dribble sequences, the heart of the modern bag aesthetics, were counterproductive under hand-checking rules that let defenders physically steer ball handlers. B.J. Armstrong revealed Jordan's calculated adaptation. He figured out he had to catch the ball in the position to score, so he learned to operate from the post and on the weak side and play the game with 3 dribbles or less. This wasn't limitation, it was optimization. The paint looked entirely different too. Centers could legally camp.
Heck, I think I saw a video of, it was a live stream with Kyrie on like a Kai Cenat live stream, and they were playing in a park, and I think he actually did that simulation with them. It was like he got the ball at half court, but I think he gave them 5 dribbles. He's like 5 dribbles or less, score. And he would defend them, and basically that was the challenge. Can you get from here to a scoring position in 5 dribbles or less? And I think it's a very similar thing to what like Jordan was doing with his 3 dribbles or less. Excuse me, guys. I don't know. I woke up with some allergies apparently today. That's my first sneeze, but I definitely have a runny nose today, so I apologize if if I'm making sinus sounds today.
Under the rim without defensive 3-second violations, stretch 5s didn't exist. Teams averaged 3.1 3-point attempts per game in Jordan's rookie year versus 35 plus today. The fadeaway Jordan made famous is now nearly extinct because the rules that made it optimal no longer exist. James Harden took only 29 baseline 2-pointers out of 1,909 total shots in his MVP season.
Yeah.
Modern
Everything's
space
top of the key with him.
demands different solutions. Today's guards face fundamentally different problems. Legal zone defense means multiple help defenders can position at the nail and elbow to cut off drives. The defensive 3-second rule opened the paint but allowed roaming shot blockers. Modern bag moves, step back threes, extended hesitation sequences, Euro steps solve these new defensive puzzles. While Jordan's game was perfectly calibrated for the kind of hands-on physical play of the 90s, Harden's game is perfectly suited for the hands-off, data-driven dogma of today.
Yeah, it's why you never have to see Harden play with his back to the basket. He's always top of the key, dribble, facing the rim. I mean, I got to say, 80s Jordan would have had a field day with this type of play, because imagine Jordan with his first step with this style of play. Like, he was pulling that stuff off 30 years ahead of his time.
These fellas play
or
the
30
same
years ahead of where the rules were going.
bag itself emerged in the social media era.
I don't want to pause it. I gotta pause it right there. Oh man, I don't want to look at that. No, I don't want to look at that right now. Okay, a bag. This is why saying Jordan doesn't have a bag is a silly statement to me. Here's what a bag is, according to what I think and what a lot of you guys think too. I've literally had these discussions with you in the comment section. A bag is basically a tool set. It represents, I have all of these moves, all of these different ways that I can score on you. I'm going to pick one. And after I pick one, if you counter that move, I can reach into my bag and counter your counter. over and over and over again until I eventually do score on you. In other words, you can't stop me because my bag is so deep. That's what a bag is. And if that doesn't describe Michael Jordan, who the hell does it describe? Literally, like, I feel like that term was invented for a guy like Michael Jordan. Or like a Larry Bird, you know, you can't stop these guys from scoring. It's just a matter of how much they want to score that day. That's what a deep bag is. Now, if your move is step back 3, and if you take away my step back 3, I don't have anything else to do. There's no other way I know how to score on you. That's not having a deep bag. That's being an expert at one move.
Mentally aesthetic. The term bag itself emerged in the social media era. LeBron explained.
Speaking of bag and that image, Luka's got a bag too. He could score in a whole bunch of different ways.
Michael Jordan wasn't out there dribbling 1,000 times to get to the spot. He'd get to a spot and race. Isaiah Thomas, as great of a handle as Isaiah Thomas had, Isaiah would get to a spot and race. Even Kobe Bryant, considered to have one of the history's deepest bags, faced efficiency criticism for forcing high-volume shots. He missed more field goals than any player in NBA history. Phil Jackson wrote that Bryant tends to force the action, especially when the game isn't going his way. Having more moves doesn't guarantee better outcomes. Fair acknowledgement of SGA's greatness. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander deserves every bit of praise he receives. His MVP season, 32.7 PPG and 51.9 shooting, while leading the Thunder to a championship, represents legitimate modern greatness. He became the 4th player in NBA history to win a scoring title, regular season MVP, and finals MVP in the same season, joining Kareem and Michael, who accomplished it 4 times, and Shaquille O'Neal, only second guard to achieve this feat. His specific statistical combination, 30 plus PPG, 50% plus FG, 5 plus rebounds, 5 plus assists, 1.5 plus steals, 1 plus blocks, has only been matched by Jordan himself. SJ's style, Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, 2 guys who leveraged mid-range pull-ups and fadeaways. SJ takes 36.7% of his shots from mid-range versus the 11.6% league average.
That's a disgusting stat right there. That's the average amount of. No wonder why it's been so hard for me to watch. And I'm trying this year. I really am. But why am I not a fan of it? Because 1/10 of the shots are what I'm looking for. Everything else is 3 balls, basically, and then an occasional dunk. But where I want to see the game played, in the middle, you know, in the mid-range, yeah, it's 1 out of 10. 1 out of 10 plays, I'm going to be satisfied. That sucks. And when it comes to SGA, listen, his skill set is very reminiscent of Jordan and Kobe. I can't deny it. All I want to see is a little less of this foul baiting stuff, because if you really are that good, and I think he is that good, you don't need to do this. You don't need to do these offhand, left hand shove off, you know, push off of people, and then like basically you're foul baiting. You don't need to do all that, in my opinion. If you are a great scorer, show us without you know, giving us a reason to call you a free throw merchant. You know, your career is young. I hope he changes it. I know it's been successful for him, but that's what most of us know him as, is a foul baiter and a free throw merchant. And it's taking away from the actual skill that he has. And it's happening to me too, because when I watch him live, one play I'm like, damn, he's good. Then the next play I'm rolling my eyes, like, really, like, back at the free throw line again. And it gets pretty boring to watch, I'm not gonna lie.
He's actually the most Jordan-like modern scorer, not his opposite.
Yeah.
His game represents evolution within the same foundational style, not revolution away from it. The difference between different and limited cross-era player comparison requires evaluating relative dominance within the context. not transplanting players across the rule sets. Time travel coups you directly from the 50s to 2020s, and he doesn't make the league. Time travel Chris Paul to the 1950s, and he destroys the league. Neither scenario tells us who was actually better. Jordan acknowledged these realities. We play in different eras. I take it with a grain of salt. But he also noted that today's players don't even have a clue on how we had to grow up and how we had to play.
Yeah.
You couldn't cross the lane without getting checked. Scottie Pippen estimated...
And that's a difference too. Because, and that's why, like, it's sad that, like, you know, us old heads or whatever, we don't get heard very, very much anymore. But the thing is, we grew up in that time, so we definitely know what we're talking about how it was. And then we also have a different perspective as to how it is now, because we went from that to this. So we've witnessed all of it and we know the difference. Now, the young folk out there, they hear us talk about it, but they think we're just hating. We're just hating on the new game. Really, we're trying to explain to these young cats that it was really different. Like, that's all there is to it. That's all we're trying to say and trying to get you to understand and accept. Is that, yes, it was played very different back then. So it would be hard to go from today's rules to the rules of yesterday and be successful. You know, while if you went from the yesterday rules to the today rules, you'd have a higher chance of success because you had it harder back then. It's like the days before having a computer or a calculator. It's like having to do accounting without a calculator your whole life, and then all of a sudden you get a calculator put on your desk. Is that going to be easier or harder? It's going to make your life so much easier. Now, if you've never lived without ChatGPT doing all your math for you, and then all of a sudden you have no computer, no calculator, and you're stuck doing accounting work, free form, on a piece of paper and a pencil, how successful do you think that transformation is going to be? Because I don't think that's going to work out very well. That's all we're trying to say.
Jordan could score 100 points in today's game given current defensive rules. So this is the conclusion. Optimization masquerading as limitation.
Yep.
The Pierce Green claim reveals more about how we discuss basketball than about Jordan's actual abilities. Jordan possessed post moves, perimeter skills, 3-level scoring, and counter-move mastery documented across 15 years of the evolution. He adapted from explosive athlete to footwork technician to post-up master, winning scoring titles in all 3 phases. Coaches created entire defensive schemes just for him. Defenders described facing a very subtle, very impressive set of decisions. Tim Grover trained him for 14 years and watched Jordan eliminate every weakness methodically. What Pierce called a limited bag was actually ruthless optimization, using 3 dribbles instead of 10, catching in position to score, deploying the fadeaway instead of the step back because one-on-one defense couldn't
that line he said, hold on.
Score.
Wait.
Using 3 dribbles instead of 10, catching in position to score.
That's a huge one. See, that was a huge one because, like I said, in the 80s, he caught the ball around top of the key, kind of like James Harden, and then he had to work his way to the basket from there. A lot more work as opposed to, the optimized Jordan, which is, okay, I'm going to catch it deep in here because all I have to do is turn around and shoot it. I'm right where I want to shoot the ball. So you battle for that position without the ball. You catch the ball in position, turn around, jump shot, easy. It's what Kareem did for the skyhook. It's what Shaq did throughout his entire career. Off the ball, battling for position to get as close to the rim as possible, catch, dunk, or turn around hook. That's the optimized way of playing basketball. But in the 80s, he didn't know all that. He didn't care about all that because he was good enough to find a way to score and he had endless energy.
Deploying the fadeaway instead of the step back because one-on-one defense couldn't stop it. Different rules rewarded different solutions. Jordan's moves were calibrated for an environment where help couldn't come legally, contact was constant, and the paint was packed. His limited toolkit produced the highest career scoring average in NBA history and 6 championships. The debate ultimately reduced to this: do we evaluate basketball skills by aesthetic variety or by results achieved within competitive constraints? Jordan faced the greatest defenders of his era under rules that made his game harder to execute. and dominate it anyway. That is not limitation, that is mastery.
I agree. I agree. I don't know. If I had a guitar that only had 2 strings on it, yet I was able to make better music than anybody else when they had 6 strings on their guitar, does that mean I suck, or does that mean I'm great? You know, I'd have to say I would give credit to that person who's able to overcome that. I thought it was a great video, you guys. Fantastic video as always from Old School B-Ball. So I didn't know about that Paul Pierce thing, but if I knew it was Paul Pierce, I really don't take what he said serious, guys. His buddy KG, I do. I think he thinks out his stuff a little more, but Paul Pierce is kind of like, he's almost like a troll. He says things, and I think he's just doing it like he's just laughing behind the scenes because people take it serious, you know. But he has said so many silly things, man. I loved him as a player, respect the hell out of him as a basketball player, but as an analyst, man, this guy says some crazy stuff, and then he'll contradict it the next day anyways. So I don't even know. He's a special cat, that Paul Pierce. But does Jordan have a bag? Of course he does, man. Like I think this is a dumb question. Does he have a bag? Yeah, of course he does, dude. Does Allen Iverson have a bag? Yeah. You know, like, does Larry Bird have a bag? Yeah. Guys who can figure out a way to score, no matter what the situation, you gotta have a bag to do that, okay? That's all there is to it. And then you can question some guys who are one-dimensional, like a Shaquille O'Neal, for instance. You know, does Shaquille O'Neal have a bag? That's a debate. You know, that's a debate I'd be willing to have, because you take away him catching the ball deep, deep in the post, what does he have left? You know, maybe we'd say like rookie year, like Orlando Magic era Shaquille O'Neal, he had some moves. He had a little bit of a bag that he can reach into, that he didn't need to catch the ball so deep in the post. But everything after that, it was all deep post or bust for him, you know? And then you kind of stop him by putting him at the free throw line. And then what? Then you need somebody like a Penny Hardaway or a Dwayne Wade or a Kobe Bryant to help you, because they have an endless bag to reach into. So I don't think we need to have this conversation of, does Jordan have a bag? Do you guys think so? I mean, if you do, put it in the comments if you want to have a debate on it, you know, and then have a conversation with each other. I'm more curious, do you guys think Shaq has a bag? Because really, take away that deep post catch, what's left? And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to diss on him. I'm just trying to like define what a bag means. And a bag means if you counter my primary attack, I have a secondary and a third and a fourth and a fifth attack. So what's that secondary, third, fourth, and fifth for Shaq? Anyways, I'll see you guys in the comments. It should be fun. Guys, go check out the Old School B-Ball channel. Link is down below in the description. Excuse me, these allergies. Link is down below in the description. Everybody, please like the video on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this. Hit that subscribe plus or that join button if you want to support my channel. And most importantly, is to be water, my friends. And if it's cold, be warm water, my friends.